I'm going to show you how to make this stack of paper into 1,000 books. There's a slight cloudy spot here on the trail edge, and I noticed some people before complained about that with these 30s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And this is grain long, so that's why this is happening. It's just a little stiffer that way. Typically I print this grain short and there's no problem at all, but since this is grain long, that trail edge of the sheet as it's coming off the second transfer flips, and it creates that. I'll show you how to fix that. Okay, this is your lower transfer roller, and what happens is as your paper comes across here, this metal bar right here holds that paper down and it flips, and as it flips creates a wrinkle in that paper, and then the transfer doesn't happen. Therefore you get a cloudy spot. So to make that go away, we'll take out these two screws and remove this bar. Problem solved. You can see the cloudiness there on the edge is now gone here. And just so you know, whenever I do something like this and modify the Konica product, right after this job I'm going to put it back just the way that it was, and that's because I'm assuming Konica knows what they're doing, and for a majority of the stocks it's good to have that piece of metal in there. So once I'm done running these covers, I'm going to put that back together. These covers need to be laminated, so I'm going to throw them on the laminator here, take care of that. I quick bound 100 perfect bound books. I'm getting set up to run another 300 here. One thing I wanted to also mention, whenever you're running longer runs like this, you gotta stop and check your work every so often. You know, machines will just run non-stop and print a bad quality product, so you have to constantly be checking. Every time I unload it for load, I'm always looking for any type of defect. I always make sure to check specifically halftones. Halftones are the first to start looking bad, whether it be low density or lines from dirty Coronas or anything like some toner from a bad cleaning blade. You never know, but you just always have to be watching. So the sum of three products is what creates a high quality printed product. It's the quality of the file that you're printing from, the settings that you're making on your rip, and the quality of your press and the upkeep and maintenance and things like that. So, and each one of those things have to be top-notch in order to create the best printed product. You can have a real good quality file, high quality, all done correctly, but you're lacking in setting the rip up correctly, and it just doesn't look very nice. So here's a good example. The quality of the file was good, but my rip settings I was messing around with to get the best quality. Here it's a little washed out, so I adjusted some settings, got a little too dark, and then found a good middle ground here where you don't lose quality in your shadows, and you have a much nicer image. So actually I should probably add a fourth into that. It's the people that are involved in each of these steps. Because I could have just printed this as is, but I'm always trying to get the best product out. So yeah, make sure you have a good file, make sure you have good rip settings, and make sure that your press is cleaned up and looking good. Then you get a good product. I was in here cleaning the cleaning blade on the 1200. Just wanted to point out that every once in a while, make sure you take these guys off and vacuum them off. That's all paper dust that it cleaned off the rollers there. And if these things are full, like they are now, paper dust is making its way into the rest of the machine, and it'll get mixed in with your toner and your developer and lower your quality. So make sure you get in here and vacuum it all out every once in a while. And also don't forget the bottom one. Another thing I like to do every once in a while inside this is clean off these fingers. Gets a little bit of toner build up on the tops of them, which is actually the part that contacts the fuser roller. So just make sure that they sit down the whole way and your paper feeds as nicely as possible. I like to just clean those off. So very rarely do I ever run a job like 1,000 books from start to finish without getting interrupted. So like right now I have just 50 books that are spiral bound that need to be done tomorrow, and I'll drop what I'm doing on a big job to get the smaller jobs done, and that's worked out for me. I feel kind of bad because then big jobs take longer, but those customers know that it's typically going to take a week or 2 weeks to get that job done. And the little jobs of, you know, 50 sheets, 100 sheets, those customers expect the job sooner. So it all works out, but that's the way I do it. There's really not a fair way to do it. It'd be great to just do things as they come in and you wait in line, but then it's not really fair to the people that just need, you know, 15 minutes of my time or 20 minutes to get a quick job done. So we're doing that now. I think I'll be cutting some covers down. I have a little bit more of the 1,000 book run to print, and just got another order for another 1,000 books. Be setting that one up. Okay, printing about 5,000 business cards there. While I get this stuff cut down, I don't know, I'm starting to freak out. No, I'm not. I'm just starting to have fun. Now these just need to be punched and collated. It's another one of those step brochures that I do where there's different steps. So punch them, collate them, spiral bind them, then those are done. One thing that I do that saves a ton of time in cutting is I gang up business cards. So this customer wanted 2,000 of one card and then 500 each of two other cards. So that's 3 different cards. I could have imposed those 24 up on 3 separate sheets, then I would have had to cut it down 3 separate times. So this way I cut it down in thirds, and you know, from here to here is one business card, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 of another one over here. That just cuts my trimming time in thirds. While those are printing, I'm gonna go out, figure out what it costs, make the invoice so that as soon as I'm done trimming, I can shoot them an email, set them up front with the invoice, and it's off to the next job. Invoice is done. These are finished printing. I just got some labels in today that need to be printed and shipped. Gonna quick cut these down. I got a newsletter to work on and a postcard mailing. Then once I get that done, oh yeah, I got to coil bind those books I just cut down earlier, and then it's back to the 1,000 books we're doing. Okay, change of plans. I just turned the binder off. I was warming that up, hoping to get started on those 1,000 books today, but I just got another booklet order, and I got a bunch of other stuff to do, so I'm gonna do those quick, and then maybe we'll just knock out the 1,000 books tomorrow. Labels are done. Oh, they look so lonely sitting there. They want to be bound. Oh well. Covers. Interior pages. Done. So I got these postcards from Canon in the mail, and from time to time printing press manufacturers send things like this boasting the quality of their equipment, and this is an inkjet versus offset one, and there's always these comparison, and I think Konica, I got one from Konica too at some point, and you know, can you tell the difference between offset and inkjet or the toner device? And they haven't stumped me yet, but it's getting pretty close. The quality is getting a lot better. However, those machines are incredibly expensive, so I just can't justify it. And typically in the highlights, that's usually always where I look. You can see lines in the inkjet printed stuff. But I mean, the inkjet stuff, you know, this card, you know, it looks really good. But again, here in the highlights, here and here, you can see lines. So I mean, it's not there yet for me. It's good for printing envelopes and stuff like that, but I don't know. I always get excited to try and compare the two and see if I can spot the difference. I feel like a kid. It's exciting. It's like a game. Coil bound books are done. All right, back at it this morning. Got the covers cut down, get those ready. Get the book blocks I need to cut down ready for perfect binding. It should easily, I don't know, let's see, probably within 4 hours of binding time I should be able to do 1,000 books. That leaves me about 4 hours to do the rest of these jobs that came in. I've got some postcards, some newsletters, I have some quotes to do. I got a couple things on my desk that I need to take care of. So it's one of those days where I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how much stuff I'm going to get done. I got way too much stuff to do in one day. We're just going to push as hard as we can, get it all done. Not all of it, as much of it done as we can, and we'll take it from there. So let's go do this. Binder's warming up. I just got 2 more cases of adhesive yesterday, so we are good to go on that. So my book blocks, pretty much all the books I do, I will try and make this step as easy as possible. So I like to take the full sheet of paper, and it just needs to be cut in exactly half twice. So if I'm doing a 4-up book, a 2-up book, a 6-up book, on 12/18, 13/19, 11/17, anything in between, it's just a simple half cut both ways, and then the book blocks are ready to bind. So we have a 1/4 inch on the top of these, a 1/2 inch on the side, and a 1/2 inch between them. And so that means that I need 3/8 of an inch from the crop mark to the edge of my cover for the binder setup. This should be set up exactly, so I cut that in half, and there's 3/8 of an inch, and then both these top and bottom covers are identical. So I'm going to cut the covers down, stage those over there, and cut all these book blocks down, and maybe get a couple other little things done. Got a couple more book covers that need to be laminated, so I'm gonna get those done first thing. So let's print them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I was cutting down book blocks while they were printing. Took about 15 minutes. I got the other ones to cut here, but load these up, laminate them, cut those down. I think I probably have another 20 minutes or so till that's ready to bind, so I'll go do some other stuff. So I didn't get started binding yet. I really wanted to be binding by now, but I had a new customer, that wanted to see some proofs of a couple pieces that I'm going to be printing either today or tomorrow. So I just wanted to get those done quick, so I got those done right now. I'm going to set those out front, then we're going to bind. Let's do this. Well, it was exhausting, but it was fun. It's always a lot of fun to take a stack of basically worthless paper and convert it into something like books that somebody's actually willing to pay for. So, gonna box these up. I got some booklets I'm gonna run quick, and then we're gonna call it a day and be back at it next week. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.